I love that. And Walt is swag. We're getting ready to go here. Going to Sanctuary and House. So again, good strategy here to start by both teams splitting up the overworld checkpoints in the light world, trying to minimize the amount of time that you're spending checking locations and being able to figure out where you need to go. 2 pendants. Green pendant is at Tower of Hera, red at Eastern Palace, and 5 crystal. One of the red crystals is at Desert Palace. So we'll be going to Desert Palace at some point here.
And what are we going to get from our tree pull? Just some hearts. And so we're going to get first look at Uncle. Meanwhile, it looks like Walther's going for a Houlihan play. Meanwhile, Ursula headed up to Lumberjack. And the mirror is in Uncle's chest.
That's a good find early on. I would love to know that. And just as we were talking about a little bit before, what do we need to see here from these two teams? Just in general, really good communication, being able to call out strategies, figure out where you need to go as you're getting information. Not only the information that you're picking up from your item checks, but what your partner is picking up as well. That may give you a very quick idea of where you need to be heading.
Right. And given that mirror is, well, relatively not needed at the moment, I'm sure that Sir Link won't make a break for that, nor will Qirn.
It's going to be, if you don't go early, it's going to be something that you're going to want to have to remember is there. And just a big 20 showing up in the mushroom location there in Lost Woods. Might as well go pick it up. If you walked all the way over there, you'll need the money anyways.
It looks like Sir Link is going to go straight for Saha's closet over here, and we're going to see what's in the back. Just some bombs, a piece of heart, and the lamp. And speaking of bombs, Qirn farming some bombs at those 50-50 bushes before heading over to Race Game and checking that.
Indeed, we found the single arrow in the Lost Woods thief hut. There's a heart in the swamp chest. Qirn turning around. I did not catch what was at the Race Game, but I don't think it was
a rod of some kind. I couldn't tell.
Oh, actually, yeah.
Caught it at the last minute myself, but it's definitely either rod, they're going to pick it up.
Absolutely. There's the flute in the back of the tavern. Ursula picking that up real quick. SirLinkalot already into Eastern Palace. Walther looks like he's going to be heading over. Yeah, it's a fire rod there. Walther heading over to Mini Moldorm Cave. And yeah, SirLinkalot already in Eastern Palace, checking these item locations. A very fast and very frantic start here to the seed. We're seeing a lot of diversity in these choices, and it's kind of hard to keep up even for us.
Yeah, I imagine that we'll see our runners start to cover each other's ground, you know, after they do their first initial. And there's Hammer in Mini Moldorm Cave.
Woo! And Qirn's got that intel on where that flute is. There's the bottle in Bombos, and what else do we have here in Blindside? The boots. Oh, that's a good location here.
Wow, this seed is giving and giving and giving.
And that may end up being a curse here, Jetters, because as you probably know, like many of our many of our chatters, and especially all of our runners know, a very healthy and generous seed at the start tends to be a seed that has a lot of junk later on, and it's not easy when you're looking for one item and all you're finding are big 20s, big 5s, bombs, stuff you don't need and don't want.
Yeah, and speaking of bombs, Ursula does not have any, so missing the back of the well and the back of Blind's house, so we'll have to circle back for those after getting some bombs.
I think the good news is they've got enough money now to be able to get the bombs. But I wonder if we're going to see a play just short 4. Maybe we'll see a play to... No, I think bombs probably will be the purchase here. And then we'll just wait on the bottle vendor.
Well, we got a big 300 in the back of the well that was what Ursula was missing there, and then looks like Walther's gonna go pick up that mirror.
And the big key is in the... I believe that's the vanilla location, if I remember right in the game.
Yes, that is the vanilla location for the big key.
Absolutely.
So Link is done with Eastern, and looks to be headed towards Kakariko Town.
So here's one of the interesting things, is that hammer is there early. The flute's there early. The mirror's there early. You've got access to get to the eastern side of Death Mountain right now. If you're any of these runners, you can put that all together. There may be something hiding up there that's really important for them to go find.
And Ursula about to get the big news that Fire Rod is on Race Game.
And Sick Kid showing up there with the heart. Bombs in the...
And,
Wins.
yeah, it looks like Walther's going to give us a look at the front of Escape here. There's our map, so... Still looking for that small key. The rest will be items. And Ursula going to give us a look at Agina, see if he's got anything to share with us today. And nothing but some green goo in the front of Escape. Alright, so, at this point, we'll see some of our runners start heading up to Death Mountain. At least very soon here. Because, you got all that all that East Death Mountain to check with the hammer and the mirror, and as well as being able to at least get into Tower of Hera. It looks like Old Swagger Jackson hasn't made it over to Eastern to get that lamp yet. So I imagine one might go to Eastern, one might go to the mountain.
Yeah, I saw Qirn just kind of think... I think Qirn was thinking what I was thinking there for a moment, and looking for that Death Mountain play, and suddenly realized, oh, I don't have the gloves, and then also realized, oh, I don't have the hammer probably, but he's about to get it, or I think maybe that's weird. That's why we're seeing Qirn go to in the Old Dome Cave. Walther having the intel that that's where the hammer is, probably going to pick it up and go up to Death Mountain.
It looks like Blind's Bandoliers is their first visit to Mini Moldorm, so that's the intel that they will need. And it looks like Ursula relayed that hammer information to SirLinkalot, and he is headed straight there. Alright, so Ursula headed up to Ice Rod Cave. Meanwhile, looks like Walther is going to activate that flute. And Qirn's just going to go check Agina here. Get that piece of heart. And now we got a save quit on Bly's Bandelier's side, and we're going to see where they head out from there. Meanwhile, Qirn saving and quitting and fluting to...
Ready to go some one. Yep.
So it looks like Ursula is going to go ahead and do Eastern and pick up those items there. Meanwhile, SirLinkalot going to check Bonk Rocks real quick and probably head up to Death Mountain from there. Don't have any gloves there, buddy. Gonna have to use that flute to get up to the top.
Yep. I think he realizes it now.
Alright, so Qirn pulling out the old man, and we'll see. It is just a piece of heart. So the old man gives him just a little bit of love for bringing him back home. And Qirn making his way up to Spectacle Rock to check out what's in there, as SirLinkalot is just shortly behind, saving the old man from the cave. Looks like Walther fake flippering up to straight up to Zora. Interesting play here. No Moon Pearl, so won't be able to go into Waterfall. Basically just be able to check the ledge and what's on Zora himself.
And that might be all he needs to do. There's bombs on the ledge.
Did that hint tile that Qirn just picked up say a piece of heart is held with the fishes?
I am not entirely sure.
Yeah. So,
Oh, there's a bug net.
So it looks like Catfish probably has that piece of heart, and the bug net is on King Zora, so... Magic in the Tower of Hera. And Qirn taking an intentional death to reset health and get back to the beginning. And it looks like Walther's gonna find that lamp, so that'll be some information for Qirn. Won't necessarily need the lamp, but probably will route that in at some point, because it's better to have the lamp than to not.
Yeah, it's just a lot easier. Some caches in Lost Woods, we know that's at Big 20. Fire routes in plain sight.
You don't say.
Qirn's not gonna be. He'll be happy to know that the hint was there, but not necessarily happy to know that that's the hint he's getting.
And it looks like our last item is on Moldorm or in the basement.
Right, so we'll have to see if Moldorm drops a key. It's in the basement. If it's not, then key is locked inside the chest, and we don't have to worry about it.
Well, Qirn already picked up the small key, so...
Oh, yeah, that's right. We do have the small key, and it's either the compass or the actual item. That's right.
Alright, Qirn engaging Moldorm, crossing the fingers and hoping the item's on Moldorm.
Gotta use that hammer though. That's always a little hard. Really tiny hitbox. Try and hit the tail, but it's 10 arrows, so yeah, he's not gonna have to go to the basement. He's gonna get the green pendant, and that's gonna be nice because that's also gonna be an extra item to turn in.
Yep.
At Sahasrara. And looking at Qirn, we know that the lantern's at Sahasrara. He hasn't been there yet, so he'll be able to get all 4 of these items in one go.
But not before checking out East Death Mountain, so we're going to see if there's anything in Paradox and Spiral Cave here. Also get a peek at that island and see if it has anything that we'll have to get later. Just 10 arrows.
Yep.
Qirn playing it safe, doesn't want to die here, so using Fire Rod to dispatch the enemies in this cave.
And that one heart, so you gotta be really careful.
Yeah, without a sword, you can't dash through the enemies.
Ooh. Ooh. Okay, got a little lucky there.
Yeah, the mini Moldorm turned away.
Yeah, I saw that too, Qirn. That was looking really sketchy there for a moment, but just got lucky in the right way. He's got to be careful of the dead rocks too.
Alright, so we're gonna get a sync up here in Paradox Cave. And Ursula headed up the mountain. Meanwhile, Walther, now that he has the Moon Pearl, is going to go back for the waterfall. And there's our first glove in Paradox. So that is Dark World access for SirLinkalot, and as soon as Ursula gets up to Paradox Cave, that will be Dark World access as well. Looks like Ursula's going straight there.
Yep, definitely looks like Ursula's going straight there. Sorry to interrupt, but we did find our first sword. It's in the waterfall cave. Walther has located it. So that's one of the 4 sword locations.
And Ursula taking a death, getting dead rocked. And SirLink finding the small key, and that means there is an item in Dark Cross.
And green pendant turn in is only going to be 300 rupees. So yeah, it's a nice item to have, but you don't need to go to Moldorm for progression.
Interesting that Qirn save and quit. Moon Pearl is in Eastern, so I would thought that Qirn would have grabbed it there, but looks like he's going back of escape. So, SirLink, our first contestant into the Dark World. And here we go. Let's see if Hype Cave lives up to the hype today.
Oh boy, let's see. SirLinkalot going into Hype Cave, gonna see. What do we got to start? My friend, it's a piece of heart. Not good so far. There's bonds. More hearts. More hearts. And a shield, okay. It's a safety cave.
Well, as you were saying, when the seed giveth in the early game, it taketh in the later game.
Absolutely, and the thing to keep in mind here is we still haven't found our first in-logic sword. Walther does have one sword, but he had to use the water walk to be able to get to it, so within the logic, that's not required at this point.
Alright, so Walther making it to Paradox. Meanwhile, Qirn is going to go into Eastern now and pick up that Moon Pearl. And we got big 300 on Pyramid Ledge. Ursula making it to Paradox as well after a couple of deaths. And then gonna go grab the glove and assumedly head to the Dark World as well. So Link's gonna mirror out of this little maze here, turn in that green pendant, get the 300, and head over to Pod.
Yeah, I think this is our first dip in the pod as well, so it will be very interesting to see what our runners come across. And everyone's got the Moon Pearl now, so
And
Dark World safety for everyone.
Yep. And it looks like Walther's going to head on the west side of Dark World to start with. And Ursula looks like to be doing the same.
I believe so. I think Ursula will be heading into the Village of Outcasts as well here. And there we go. We're getting our look. The one remaining pendant is going to be at Turtle Rock. Everything else is going to be crystal. And the sixth crystal, the other red crystal, is at Misery Mire.
And Miriarchy asking, why did Ursula save and quit before getting the other chests in Paradox? And that's the beautiful thing about these co-op matches. Your teammate that has been there before you can tell you if the rest is junk and you don't need to bother. So that's one of the interesting dynamics of these co-op matches is your teammates can tell you where the junk is and where the good stuff is.
And that's kind of why it pays too when you have these locations that have a lot of chests, is to have one person go check that ahead of time, and then when the second person goes and does it, then they don't have to worry about it so much.
And Walther giving us our first look at Thieves Town, starting off with a big 20, and I believe the big key was in the first chest. Ursula finding the blue mail in the brewery.
Is a unique item in Blind's hideout? Well, shoot. I think we already know that.
So Ursula headed into Thieves Town as well. Meanwhile, Qirn going up to the pyramid. And Sir Link is navigating through Pod, going into the dark basement here.
And finding key and the map, so not a whole lot, unfortunately.
Looks like Qirn is headed over to Catfish. Or maybe, just gonna get some safeties here.
So let's see what SirLinkalot's gonna get here in this big chest. Also picking up the compass. He's got the ice rod.
No searching for the ice rod today, even though Turtle Rock is a pendant. It is all dungeons, so you know they're gonna need that ice rod.
That's absolutely a good point, and I almost forgot that it was all dungeons here. So they are gonna need that ice rod, and the catfish has got a piece of heart, as was hinted by the game.
Alright, so Walther wrapping up Thieves Town, getting that small key, so there's gonna be something in the big chest, I believe. I think the compass and map have been collected. And it's a piece of heart. So Walther's gonna have to be careful on this because 3.5 hearts gonna have to execute this very nicely. K45 holding just 3 bombs. And Walther, nicely done, taking down Blind and getting 20 rupees and a crystal. And SirLinkalot giving our dig game a peek.
Qirn not too far behind. Hey, it's the flippers!
So someone buried the flippers. And now we've got our first sword in logic. So SirLink is heading over to West Dark World. Meanwhile, Ursula is finishing up Thieves Town here. And it looks like SirLink is gonna head into the village of Outcasts. I kind of expected a Skull Woods play, but it looks like maybe SirLink is gonna head over to Bumper Ledge and Graveyard Ledge, as well as King's Tomb.
Absolutely. Ooh! There's the other lift upgrade.
So, we're gonna need some cape. And that's important knowledge, so looks like Walther's starting at the back of Skull Woods there. Meanwhile, Qirn made his way into Pod, and Ursula on half a heart and takes down Blind. So, let's see if we've got, I believe Cape is in King's Tomb, if I remember correctly, in Vanilla. So, let's see if we got Vanilla. Just 10 arrows. Looks like Qirn is potion glitching those gorillas out of the way. Oh, looks like Walther found the cape in front of Skull Woods. So we'll have that cape to grab the Titansmiths.
That'd be very helpful for him as well. He can be able to get a little bit more information. And of course, having that info for Qirn as well.
And it looks like Ursula is going to get that information over to SirLinkalot, so they're going to know about the Titansmiths as well.
Right. The question is, I don't know if Walther and Qirn have not been up to Bumper Cave yet, though.
No, they have not. So, yeah, Ursula will be able to go out and get those Titansmiths. And as promised, again, piece of heart on Catfish. And Sir Link finally finding that first sword, routing in the waterfall nicely with Catfish here. So Ursula picking up those Titansmiths and holding them high. And now are we going to get Meyer check?
We might. It'll be very interesting to see where's Ursula going to go from here. And going to 3.
Alright, so Link is gonna leave the Zora area and looks like gonna head back down and probably check Hobo at this point. We got a question in chat. Where was the ice rod? There it is. So it looks like Ursula is starting the blacksmith chain. Alright, so just a piece of, or a heart container in the hammer pegs. Looks like Ursula says, I'll take that. And Link is probably headed over to Skull Woods to get that cape.
Meanwhile, getting to see Ursula go ahead and turn in the smith.
What are they cooking up today?
Mail. Mailsmith.
Armor smiths. Alright, so looks like no book, no powder, so we're gonna go straight to the thief to turn in that purple chest. So Qirn and Link having a sync up there and picking up the cape on both sides there. Walther headed into ice. Something sharp as a mimic cave. So we got a sword and mimic. And Ursula giving us a a mire area check here, so we're gonna get the mire shed. And we got Canis Samaria and a big 20 in the mire shed, so that puts Turtle Rock full clearable. And Ursula keeping the information train rolling, headed into desert as well. And there's an ether on the desert torch. Wait, did we get a second something sharp as a mimic cave hit?
You might have.
Alright, so Ursula picking up that big key, and gonna head on to the back here. So big chest is either map or the other item. And Walther finding out that there's a unique item in Mini Moldarm Cave. Wonder what that is. And item 2 in Skull Woods is a bee in a bottle.
So, sitting here thinking, Jetters, we got a bunch of info. We got a bunch of info on what we've got so far. Where would you be thinking about going at this point? Just with the knowledge of what we have found and what we've checked.
Well, if I was Ursula and SirLink, I think at this point I might head into Mire or Turtle Rock, because you could do the front of Swamp, no hook shot though. Mire you can full clear. So it looks like
Ooh.
Ursula is headed up to Skull Woods.
We did get to see Qirn correctly figuring out that he needs to go to Meyer's shed to get that cane.
Oh, perhaps not going to Skull Woods.
So one thing I'm looking at right now is watching Walther. Let's see what else he finds here in Ice Palace, since he's the only one who's been here so far. And we're kind of seeing everybody else go through dungeons that they've already experienced.
It looks like Sir Link breaking the seal on Thieves Town and gonna get that all cleaned up. And Walther is going to finish off Ice Palace here. Has a blue potion, and so should be pretty well off. Got the Bombos and the Fire Rod, along with half magic. It looks like Ursula is headed to Ice. Oh, nope. I'm getting the sword. Then maybe headed to Ice afterwards, because this would be a good time to do it.
And just a map from Beaten Cold Stare, but he's going to get a crystal, and it's going to put Walther one step closer to completing the game and completing all the dungeons.
It looks like Ursula headed back to Meyer, so may start Meyer here. This will be new information for us as the viewers.
Indeed, and actually for at least one of the teams. Oh, Walther may be heading over there too. Especially once he finds that Canis and Maria hanging out in Meyer's shed.
And Qirn finishing off Desert here.
Now, I wonder if there's not going to be a play for to have Qirn do this and then go back to the Dark World, get both the red crystals, and check the Pyramid Fairy. Just picking up a heart there. As Walther will be heading into Misery Mire, joining Ursula in there right now, as SirLinkalot currently going through and doing Thieves Town.
So Sir Link taking down Blind as Ursula is making their way through Misery Mire. We'll see if there's anything of value here. We're still looking for a bow and the hook shot, but aside from that, I don't think we've seen the Turtle Rock Medallion yet, so may still be looking for Quake.
Absolutely, we have. I do not believe we have seen it. We need the bow. We need that. We need Quake possibly. And yeah, really, that's about it.
Yeah, we're gonna need at least one more sword.
Sword, yeah. I was just about to mention that as well, as I think we both were pointing that out. Yeah, so a couple things still to go. We're not in go mode yet. Not even close to it. But getting there bit by bit, just as we keep uncovering more of these chests, finding more keys so far. Nothing really too special in Misery Mire. Oh, Wolflink bringing up a good point. Smart play, he knows his sword is a mimic cave, so he thinks Qirn is going to Turtle Rock. I could see that, especially if it's not Quake, if it's not the vanilla medallion. He can go ahead and open this up right now.
Yeah, and there's a good chance that there's some good items in here. So, you know, while Walther is doing Mire, I think this is the best use of Qirn's time.
It's Bombos, yes. So, it does open up. We have double Bombos today. So we are not going to need Quake Medallion. We just need the sword, the bow, and hookshot. We're good to go.
And it looks like Sir Link is going to head over to Turtle Rock as well.
And Serger was asking about where Half Magic was. It's in Tower of Hera. Everybody except Ursula has it, because everybody, I believe, except Ursula has completed, or at least dipped into Tower of Hera.
Yeah, in the last race I saw, Ursula had... So we got a well-timed hit. Some cash and a piece of heart is fire-locked in Misery Mire, so Misery Mire items are dead, and Ursula having to do the cutscene, finding out just a little bit too late that didn't need to do that. Alright, so Qirn the first into Turtle Rock here. Linkalot is going to check that first bonk chest there, get the blue rupee. And it's like Walther headed to the back. Ooh, Ursula taking a death, and that's not that's kind of annoying in Misery Mire, having to re-clear that first room. But I will say that with the current equipment, Vitreous is definitely going to be not the easiest fight in the world, but Walther using that spooky action to hit those switches in quantum space-time. And Ursula headed into ice.
Very interesting here to see what Vitreous is going to drop, and very interesting as well to see what Walther is going to do as far as strategy. Going to use the cape, looks like cape and sword spins. Very interesting.
And has a blue potion, so and there's the hook shot.
Ooh!
Qirn picking up the hook shot in Chain Chomp Room.
That's a nice find. One of the things, too, to keep in mind is as we're picking up these things, we're starting to limit where that bow can be. almost starting to think maybe it's in Swamp Palace, and you have to find that hook shot first to be able to go ahead and grab it.
Could also be in the rest of Hookshot Cave, and we do
That it
have
could, too.
Spike Cave.
Walther got the big eyeball now. Trying to use that hammer. It's a little tricky, but he's got it. SirLinkalot's about to find that hook shot in just a moment.
We got Vanilla T-Rock Big Key. And Ursula leaving ice. Looks like maybe going up to Turtle Rock to get that hook shot. So we know what's here. It's a Sword and Mimic Cave.
And that'll be the sword that Qirn needs to be able to defeat Ganon.
Yep, that will put us at minimum equipment for killing Ganon here. Obviously, our runners will probably still like to find another sword. At least the silvers. And Ursula's going to give us a Spike Cave check.
See them melt down the one heart and then use the cave. So this will be a lot trickier. I think they do have a potion, which is good, because they're going to need it. Oh no.
Ooh, taking a death.
I was going to say they needed to pop that potion, but did not get it.
So Qirn almost to Laser Bridge, so we'll see if the bow is on Laser Bridge here. Or on Trinex. And Link picking up that powder in the big chest. Ursula getting dead rocked. And Walther finishing Desert. So we got a blue cane in the first chest of Laser Bridge. Qirn dealing with the beetle. So no bow on Laser Bridge.
Nope.
But Qirn will take the safety door.
Cannot blame Qirn. You don't want to die here and have to go all the way back to the entrance right by where Mimic Cave is. It's a long haul to get back.
So Sir Link is going to clean out Laser Bridge as well, using the cape just to easily walk in there and just grab every chest.
And he's going to go ahead and not take the safety door, but might just be a little confident they can get this done in one shot.
We'll probably opt to use hammer strats, because it's probably the best option you have with this loadout. And Qirn opting to just fire rod the ice head to death. down goes Trinex, and there's a book.
It's an item find, but it's not necessarily the item find I'd want to uncover. However, it does open up the 2 tablet locations. Maybe could be hiding out there in 2.
Alright, Sir Link finishing off, and we'll get that book again. Looks like Walther is going for the early Aga 1. And there's the bow and hookshot!
Yo! And there's also the Quake medallion, but there's that bow. That's what we were looking for.
So, let me count my items, but that looks to me like Qirn is technically in go mode.
I believe Qirn is in go mode, yes. Which
But,
means that Walther may be there soon.
Yeah, so we'll see how much checking Qirn and Walther do for extra swords and silvers. And Link gonna pick up that bow, so Ursula will be in no mode. So now it comes down to execution and how much time you're going to spend looking for swords. So Ursula going to clear out Turtle Rock here while Sir Link is going to go to Swamp.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't think we've seen anybody go into Swamp Palace yet, and SirLinkalot's gonna go in there. Maybe we'll find something good. But
so, because if Sir Link finds a sword, I imagine he'll just full go mode everything. I'm not sure how much he'll check for swords, but I imagine he'll do convenient checks along the way.
Yep, I think the one thing that, if you're looking at the scorecard right now, the one thing that Old Swagger Jackson has over Blind's Bandoliers right now, number of dungeons completed, is quite a bit. Ursula having a little bit of a hard time getting some of these dungeons complete with missing a few of the items, but that's kind of the thing that you run into with a co-op mode like this, is if you're going to have somebody go and do all of the checking here, they're going to be a little bit further behind. So I kind of wonder if we're not seeing Ursula be sent out to check some of these locations ahead of time while SirLinkalot is also checking, but getting to make more use of that information and complete some of these dungeons quicker.
Yeah, I think at this point, Ursula can take. Ursula seemed like she was in the driver's seat for, most of reaching out, doing all the checks and stuff. But at this point, I think that Sir Link can take the driver's seat and Ursula can start knocking out some dungeons.
Absolutely, and of course, keep in mind that its average time here is what's going to determine the winner. So both runners have to complete it, and what their average time is will determine which team wins the race. So even though it looks like one team may be further ahead or further behind, all is not lost yet. We still got to have both runners finish, so hold on to your butts.
And yep, it looks like Sir Link is going to check this chest here. We'll probably see him go to the back after this. There's the big key, so you get to check the big key chest. Nothing but a big 20. And a big 300 rupees on Helmsor King.
Picking up that crystal, though.
And Ursula picking up that hook shot. Narrowly getting missed by those chain jumps. And Waterfall Room has for us some bombs. So it looks like Qirn is going to continue on and clear out Eastern, doing the Pod Eastern combo. Ursula continuing on through Turtle Rock here. And Walther farming rupees because didn't have enough for Kiki.
Small thing to worry about, but still something you really don't want to have to worry about is getting to Kiki and being like, oh, well, I don't have enough, because you have to do both halves of the payment. Otherwise, if you only do one half, you have to go ahead and go back and pay another 10 rupees at the start.
And Sir Link engaging Argus down to 3 puffs, count them 2. Alright, and down goes Argus. And we got a sword!
Very nice find. So SirLinkalot will be very happy to have that sword.
I imagine Sir Link will probably skip all the rest of the checks unless Ursula feels like she needs silvers or gold sword, and Sir Link may check some things for her as he's kind of in the lead with checks here.
Absolutely. One of the things to keep in mind too is that they may just be hiding out in Ganon's tower, and they may be found through the process of looking for that big key.
So Ursula picking up that second sword. So Ursula headed over to Swamp. Did not finish Turtle Rock. I don't think she has Ice Rod. So yeah, that may have been why she bailed on Turtle Rock. Yep, no Ice Rod, so hasn't picked it up from Pod yet. So Link is headed to the back desert here and gonna finish up the Landmo, and Ursula is starting on Swamp as Walther is going to grab the Ice Rod.
Ooh, running into a little bit of a spike there at the start for Ursula, but he'll be able to get the refill and go back.
Not one of the worst places for a death.
No, better to die right at the start and just basically get like a reset than to have to go all the way through the dungeon, get the Argus, and then die, and then have to do the whole thing again.
Alright, so Walther looks to be headed up towards Turtle Rock. Meanwhile, Qirn continuing on through Swamp. Will get that third sword by the end of this. And SirLink picking up the Swamp Palace Crystal. Or, the Desert Palace Crystal. And looks like headed into Mire now. And Walther getting Dead Rock. The Dead Rock playing around on the bridge, preventing Walther from passing.
He's stuck in like the worst possible spot, too.
So Ursula getting to the back here, and we'll get that third sword on Argus. And Qirn almost to Argus as Walther is entering Turtle Rock here. So at this point, Walther's going to go ahead and grab everything here, and Qirn will get the knowledge of the third sword, and they'll be able to start go-moding dungeons as well.
Absolutely. And they'll be able to do that with having an advantage in the number of dungeons completed right now. So they'll both be at 6 when these are both done. The ones that they're in right now, and technically if they were playing as one person, they would be completing the last dungeon right now that they would need. Of course that's not the case, so they've still got 4 more dungeons to go apiece.
And Ursula on Argus fight as well. SirLink picking up the big key, headed back to go kill Vitreous.
So yeah, we might have a situation here where one runner is going to finish and then have to wait for their teammate to finish and hope that the other two don't finish in the meantime. So I'm thinking, Cheddars, that SirLinkalot right now is looking to finish this first, probably.
Yeah, that looks to be the case.
Yeah, Walther and Qirn are pretty evenly paced, I guess you could say at this point. They're pretty much on pace to finish around the same time.
Yeah, we're probably gonna end up in a situation here where the averaging is gonna come into play on this one. And Ursula checking Hype Cave. I don't recall anything being here.
There's hearts here, hearts in the shield. Maybe the hearts only had 8 hearts up till now, so.
Yes, that could be it. Looks like she just grabbed the hearts and left. And Qirn is on the search for that big key, but should know where it is because Walther completed Misery Mire. Ooh, and Walther taking a death. And that's back to start. So that's quite unfortunate, dying right before the lava chest. That's a costly death there. So it looks like Ursula is headed into ice. And if Ursula wishes and it doesn't need any other swords or silvers, can just go mode this and be done with it. Walther should have the hook, because hook is in the chain chomp room, so
Right.
I would imagine Walther picked that up.
And Walther, if he goes to Hookshot Cave after this, will also pick up the bow, which is the last remaining thing. Also, we'll probably pick up, had someone asking in chat about why still on a level 1 sword. Level 2 sword is going to be coming up in just a moment here in Mimic Cave, which Walther hasn't been to yet, and upon completion of Swamp Palace, we'll get the level 3 sword.
And we have not seen the 4th sword yet, so that could be in GT, or one of the few other places that haven't been checked yet.
Seeing both halves of Blind's Bandoliers right now in Ice Palace. Oh, and Ursula backing out of an Ice Palace bomb jump. Realized just a little bit off, but I gets it the second time.
And Qirn making quick work of Argus with the Tempered Sword. A little bit easier than the Fighter Sword.
Yeah, just a smidgen easier. Walther having to do the difficult route, and the bow as well, helping out, not having to use the hammer. Just a little bit faster.
So we'll get to see what their thought process is gonna be here, because if Ursula goes straight to the boss, then they're gonna both pretty much go mode this and only get checks that may just stumble across, and yep, that looks to be what they're doing. So Ursula's got work to do, but again, Sir Link is a bit ahead of old Swagga Jackson, so we could see an average situation come into play, but Ursula being able to go mode everything that she enters at this point will help for time savings. And it looks like Blind's Bandolier is going to get a synced up Cold Stare fight here.
We're pretty close to synced up, I guess you could say.
So Qirn going and finishing off Thieves Town here. And Sir Link finishing off Cold Stare. So Sir Link is headed to Eastern Pod, and Ursula looks like we'll head up to Skull Woods. Do note, though, that Walther has killed Aga once, so that is a factor in trying to decide who's going to finish between Sir Link and Walther, because I believe those two are the closest together. Alright, so Ursula going in, grabbing that key, headed to the Moth. And with Tempered Sword, Moth is not a bad fight at all, so... I imagine Qirn after this is going to finish up Skull Woods here. Looks like Qirn has that left to do, and then after that, Ice Palace.
Yeah, Ursula now kind of catching back up here to get some of these dungeons done, and the one thing that's working for her advantage right now is she's coming in here with a lot more gear, a lot better gear too than the other three did when they came into some of these dungeons. So maybe quicker clears.
Alright, so Ursula taking down the Moth. Super easy with that Tempered Sword. And from here, we'll probably see a... Let's see... We've got... I imagine Hera and Turtle Rock will be last. Eastern and Palace of Darkness will be done together, and Desert and Mire will be done together. So either Eastern and Pod or Desert and Mire will be next for Ursula, or maybe not. Perhaps Ursula wants to go to Hera to get that half magic. And Sir Link fighting the Helmasaur King. I believe only 300 rupees on him. Oh yes, that's right. Ursula has not picked up the bow yet. And it looks like Ursula is just going to pass by the half magic. SirLinkalot entering the final, well, second to final dungeon. We'll have to do Aga Tower, but, Qirn headed over to Ice after finishing Skull Woods there.
So we are starting to see Ursula actually catch up on dungeons with the knowledge of basically being in go mode. knowing, okay, you know, these are the dungeons you need to complete. So,
yeah, and ooh, almost got knocked into the penalty box there. And down goes Trolldorm, easy 1-2. So Sir Link will be headed to Ganon's Tower after this. So once we get the Armos kill, we'll let's probably start up our guessing game for the GT Big Key. Figure once we can confirm that he's not going to go AGA 1 first, which I don't expect, but sometimes people can surprise you. And Ursula getting dead rocked. This corridor, one of the most annoying spots for dead rock. Sir Link taking down Armos Knights. So once he gets to Death Mountain, we'll get started on that guessing game. Just want to make sure that he is headed to GT first. Looks like he's gonna stock up on some safeties for the end game. Okay, 1 through 22, get your guesses in for the GT Big Key guessing game. If you have donated 250 bits or if you are a subscriber, you are eligible to get on the leaderboard. We will continue this guessing game until Sir Link enters GT, so get those guesses in now before it's too late. Ooh, and Ursula is short for... So that's the second time that's happened this race. Short on cash for entering pod. Fortunately, the stun prize is 20 rupees.
absolutely. Just needs to get, I think, one more stun after this, and that should be... There
So
we
again,
go.
If you still haven't got your guesses in for the GT Big Key guessing game, you still have just a little bit of time left. Sir Link almost to the door.
And Ursula for getting that. Oh yeah, Kiki resets if I don't have enough money, so I have to go back and get them. There we go. And the good news is everything's cleared out, so this will be pretty simple walk up.
Okay, guesses have ended, so now we get to see where that key is.
And it's not number 1 or number 2, so Hope Room, not the case today. And SirLink's gonna have a really good time here. I mean, as far as actual time, maybe not necessarily feeling.
And number 3 was just a green rupee, and we will get an appearance from Bob today if we get that deep.
Yes, indeed. And just a good reminder here to follow all 4 of our runners, putting on a good match for you all, so make sure to give them a follow.
Number 4, number 5, number 6, number 7, all not the big key.
Some are a key, but not the one we're looking for. Off to number 8, double fire bar room. Could this be one of the few times it shows up here? Maybe? No, it's a shovel. Meanwhile, Qirn. Oh, Qirn is going to be using those, We're seeing some strats here from Qirn.
So it looks like Qirn is routing the same way that Sir Link is.
Actually chose to completely skip the right side to start with and just went straight left.
Number 9, small key.
Alright, rando room. What do we got here? 4 chests.
10, 11, 12,
Number 13.
13. Number 13.
Hey!
Look at that!
It's me! I'm finally on the leaderboard. How about that?
So nobody guessed 13 exactly. Our closest guess was 15 from my fellow commentator Neon Tiger.
Finally worked the plan that I was told in the last tournament, which is always guess 15 because 15 tends, for some reason, it tends to show up a little more often.
And it looks like Sir Link is doing the dig of shame, looking for arrows.
That's never fun.
At least he got that shovel.
Absolutely. But Qirn, gonna find it right now, and Qirn actually has arrows, so Qirn's gonna be heading up the tower just as SirLinkalot is, so Qirn may actually finish first. This is gonna be close.
Yeah, it's gonna be an execution race. This is gonna be a real close one to see who finishes first. Because they both have both Agas to do, then Ganon. Meanwhile, Ursula finishing up pod here looks like to be headed to the Helmasaur King. Walther finishing up Eastern. Alright, Qirn. Gonna be the first to make it to the gauntlet. And SirLinkalot not very far behind. This is gonna be a super close one, folks. Like,
Absolutely.
a Moldorm 2 fall could change the lead.
I was gonna say it's about 1 room difference right now.
Sir Link almost getting the 0 cycle. And Walther and Ursula are going to have an interdimensional high five here at the bosses. And down goes Armos Knights for Walther, and down goes Helmosaur King for Ursula. Ooh, a nice little potion there. Red potion in one of the mini helmet chests. And look at that. They're in the same room. It could even come down to how you handle your AGA patterns with this one.
I think so. There we go.
Alright, Qirn gonna be the first to make it to AGA 2. SirLink now in AGA 2.
And Qirn getting AGA 2 done first. SirLinkalot not very far behind at all.
So SirLink is about 10 seconds behind.
Right, and one of the things to keep in mind too, we already saw Walther go do this. You have to kill AGA, so not quite at Ganon yet for for Qirn and SirLinkalot. But it's a great race between these two on the bottom.
Yeah, so there's still time for SirLink to beat Qirn to Ganon, but it is going to be a silverless fight, so depending on how clean they are, that could make a difference as well.
And as far as Ursula's going over on the Blind's Bandolier side, just getting through and completing Eastern Palace, and also has 3 more dungeons to go, as Walther finishing the last dungeon on his side, now just has GT in the Ganon fight.
And Ursula getting the perfect kill on Armos, not having to deal with the red one. Looks like SirLink has fallen behind just a little bit.
And he's about 2 rooms behind right now. And Qirn now on Ega 1.
Zephon 5, Silverless Ganon is when you don't have silvers to do the Ganon fight. You can actually use well-timed spins right as he's about to teleport away in Phase 4, and it will damage him. It takes, depending on which sword you're using, it takes, any number of hits. I believe it's like 16 for Master Sword, 8 for Tempered, and 6... for gold, or no, 8 for gold, I think. I can't remember the numbers.
Qirn has beaten GT. Zetar War was just asking in chat. Yes, Qirn has beaten GT already. Just has to do this and then the Ganon fight. It's about a 19-second gap between Qirn and SirLinkalot right now.
Okay, so it's 24 for Master and 12 for Tempered and Gold for Phase 4.
Down goes Ega 1, and Qirn will be dropping on in here in just a moment to visit our old friend Ganon.
And down goes Ega 1 for Sir Link.
Sir Link 2 will be joining right in the fight here. Qirn already on to Phase 2 of the fight.
And we'll be in Phase 3.
As Ursula now just about finishing up Misery Mire, still has to do Desert Palace, probably going to do DP next, and then into Turtle Rock, into GT, into Ega 1.
And Sir Link gonna have to be careful here, is on one heart. Oh! As a fairy, luckily.
Yep.
Looks like Qirn is missing some of the spins, so if Sir Link is super tight on the Phase 4, might be able to get it.
That death did hurt, though, a little bit.
Yeah, even though he had the fairy, it did lose some time.
And Qirn now just finishing up, just has to go across the bridge, and we did indeed see the message there. Silvers were in Ganon's tower.
So Qirn finishing with a first place time, 1 hour, 38 minutes, 40 seconds. GG Qirn. And Sir Link is continuing on with that Ganon fight.
Just gotta get through all the spins here.
Meanwhile, Ursula in desert and Walther passing the gauntlet.
So it's looking a lot like that old Spagga Jackson may go to 7-1 here on the Death Mountain side of things, which would for the moment put them into first place. Obviously there is one undefeated team. Team Sugoi still undefeated at 6-0. They haven't played this week. Frime will do an interview if we win, which is one of my favorite team names. They are 5-0-1, and they also have to play their matches this week. So, looking like we may have a top three set up here.
And Sir Link finishing in second place with a time of 1 hour, 40 minutes, 17 seconds. GG, Sir Link. And we are joined by Qirn. GG, congratulations. And how'd you feel about this seed?
About the seed, pretty good. It's always fun when you can like go mode so many dang dungeons.
Indeed. How was the teamwork with Walther for the seed? Were you guys running into any problems as far as, not necessarily as far as communications, but just as far as figuring out, where you needed to go next? Was it all pretty easy for you guys?
Well, Walter's a real, so it's really hard to like, he's just a real drama queen. So that was really the biggest issue. But he's like, man, Qirn, get it together. I keep hearing you bonk over there. Your bonk count's going to be insane. So that was probably the hardest part of the whole match. But no, but honestly, it was great. Yeah, we've definitely had problems like in the past where like one of us will forget to tell the other one where a medallion is. We have to like go back, but this was pretty smooth. It was like really efficient, and Walter was basically the coach today, and I'm glad for that because my brain is not on. So this win is more Walter's than it is mine, I feel like.
Yeah, that's kind of the thing. Well, I noticed that a lot with co-op is usually have one person who does kind of take on the coach or the scout role, where they're basically out there looking for something, and they're kind of the one telling you, okay, I went here and there was nothing. I just went here and I found a sword. I went here and I found a clue, and then that lets the other person kind of route a little bit easier too.
Yeah.
And yeah, looks like Walther is started Ganon, did Aga 1 earlier, so does not have to do that. Can go straight into Ganon after GT.
Yeah, we had a little competition at the end to see whose bonk count could be higher, but I still had Aga 1 to do, so I got a lot more bonks in than he was able to.
And we are joined by SirLinkalot. GG. How did you feel about this scene?
I felt really good about this seed. Like, getting go mode, I think I was 56 minutes when I hit go mode. Because I told Ursula when I got mitts, like, I'm going to do something crazy. Because I had the ice rod, the fire rod, and we knew where Samaria was. And I just went and got Samaria. He's like, what, you're going to go into ice? I'm like, no, I'm going to Turtle Rock. And if I can go into it, I'm clearing it. And then that led to hook shot. I was like, and then Bo was right there. I was like, oh, look, we're in go mode.
Yeah. Yeah, you, I think it was Qirn. You and Qirn were in Turtle Rock at the same time. It was one heck of a race to the finish between you two. There was times where you were just a room behind, but the death on Ganon and the fairy revival kind of added just a few seconds to the timer, and it was just that close.
Yeah, and my silverless was trash this time around. Typically it's a lot better than that, but I got off rhythm and I just couldn't get back on rhythm for a while.
But yeah, it was definitely exciting to watch you two race through GT, because you basically started the climb at the same time. Qirn was just slightly ahead because you unfortunately had to go digging for arrows.
Yeah, I went up and then I glanced at my arrows. I'm like 3. I'm like, oh wait, that's not enough. Mirror, come on, just like 1 or 2 digs, please. That's all I. And then it was like 40 digs or however long. It took me a while to get some arrows.
Yeah, I think we've all had to do that at some point.
What was that? That was the mimic room that you were short on arrows?
I didn't even get to the mimic room when I opened the big key door, or the first door to go up. And the room right before the mimics, I glanced at my arrows just to double check, that's usually when I do it, is make sure I have at least 4 arrows for that first room. And then I saw 3. I'm like, oh, nope, gotta leave. Need arrows. Thankfully, I just got the shovel.
That sucks.
Yeah, I just got the shovel, so I'm like, well, that shovel's gonna come in handy, I guess.
That's
like Walther finishing the Ganon fight, 3rd place, time of 1 hour, 44 minutes, 46 seconds. GG for Walther.
indeed. Get those GGs in chat. And I think with that, based on a little bit of rough estimation on average time, as Ursula's still going through Turtle Rock Blast dungeon, I think that probably means that Volkswagen Jackson will take the race on average time. Unless there's some kind of penalty system or something I don't know about, where you get 5 minutes added in for like illegal shifting or something.
Not that I'm aware of.
And I'm not aware of it either. So I think that will move them to 7-1. So very, very impressive record. But yeah, this was actually a lot closer of a race I think maybe the times would indicate here. I know people are be looking like, oh well, you know, Qirn finished 6 minutes ahead of Walther, but yeah, it was not too far behind, and SirLinkalot also not very too far behind Qirn. In fact, Qirn passed you, Link, in GT.
Yep, probably when I had to go get arrows.
Yep, actually, you guys were both about the same time. I think a little bit of execution, maybe on Qirn's side was faster or smoother. I'm not certain, but yeah, he got a little bit ahead, and also on the Ganon fight as well, with that death, even with the fairy revival. I'm just having to go through the whole animation costs time.
Yeah, I wasn't too worried. Like, I saw my hearts, and like I know I have a fairy, so if I take a death to Ganon, I'm just gonna go stupid kinds of aggressive on him because I feel like I have to. And it's like if I take a death, I have a fairy, and then worst case, if I need to, I've got a blue potion still. And I ended up using it just to be safe because I was at 3. I'm like, if I take a Ganon hug, he's gonna kill me, and then I gotta do this all over again.
Yeah, and little did you know that you were so close to Qirn there that had you not taken that death, there was a chance you could have gotten in there first. But yeah, I mean, it was a pretty close race overall, like Neon said.
Yeah, now we have to stop talking crap about Walter because he's in the voice chat.
Oh, we were supposed to be doing that? Whoops.
Yeah, so
Yo, what's up, guys?
Yes. But so what kind of let me ask, how did you prepare? What kind of, like, did you have a plan going into this match, since you guys swapped teammates, and Ursula and SirLink were the same for both matches? Did you have a plan set up ahead of time, and did it pan out that the plan, everything went according to plan, at least in the beginning?
I mean, we didn't have too much of a plan. We had like an early starting route plan because that wouldn't change no matter what, because you don't have any items from the beginning. But then we just took it as it came from there. We're like, okay, depending on what we get, we just adapt and try and make what seems to be the most logical plays, and try and like divide everything as evenly as possible, so we can finish recently, like fairly close to each other. At least the closer we can finish to each other, the better.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was Walt's idea. This is me not throwing Walter on the bus, because he was the coach, so this whole win belongs to him, as I said earlier. But it was his idea, like that. Okay, well, because I basically did pod early, quote unquote, and then I was going to be set up for a double dip, and I felt behind at that point because I hadn't got the other progression. So he's like, okay, well, why don't you take the faster stuff now, and I'll do the slower stuff. But then it turned out that actually you wanted a double dip pod anyway. So I think that actually is pretty much the reason why there was a 6-minute difference between us, is because it turned out by happenstance that you basically had to double dip a pod.
Yeah, because I imagine that there's all sorts of things that when in co-op you have to think in a different way, where you're not only worried about your ability to finish, but your teammates' ability to finish, and your ability to relay all the information as much as you can to your teammate, because you may not remember everything, but you got to remember, all the important stuff, and that's a big factor in these co-op matches.
Yeah, and it's a really fun mode to play as well. Like even though you do all dungeons, you end up like go moding half of the dungeons, which feels pretty nice. You definitely get to practice your go mode dungeons.
Yeah, especially like Swamp and Ice, definitely good to go mode those.
Yeah, I think I got to go mode like 5 dungeons altogether. But I checked some chests because we were still looking for silvers.
Yeah, and it turns out they were in GT somewhere.
Yeah, surprise, surprise. Of course they were.
Yeah, basically, if you don't find them in the course of the run, they're probably in GT. But yeah, it's Sir Link. Did you how did you feel about the co-op races today? Like in terms of just play style, and was it something that you've done before? Is it a new experience?
I took part in last year. There was like a 2v2 mystery tournament. So I've done co-op there. But I really like the idea of the co-op because it's just there's a lot of they were kind of putting it like early on you have your plan, but then it's like you have to adapt very quickly. Both racers on I found this, so I can go do this, and when can my partner go and do this? When's it most convenient to them? Because they're gonna have to go do it at that point. So it becomes more of a when's it a good time to play catch up at that point for the other person, and the other person's kind of looking ahead and trying to find that stuff for them as well.
Yeah, because I saw that for a lot of the race, Ursula was the one out in front gathering a lot of the information, and then basically once you hit go mode, those roles reversed, and you started taking the lead on finding, looked like you were trying to look for another sword, and then found that one on Argus, and while Ursula could catch up on some dungeons.
Yeah, I was looking for a sword or silvers, because we were sitting just a master sword. And, I'm pretty sure if I ask any runner, they don't want to do master sword silverless unless it's forced. So they'll look for swords and silvers at that point.
Yeah, at least with the convenient checks. But Ursula just finishing off Land Mode 2, and we'll have AGA 1 to do as well after this. Then we'll be on to Ganon. So, do you think co-op is going to be something you're going to be doing any more of, or is this like kind of one-time thing for the league?
Like, it's a really fun mode. I was also in that 2v2 tournament, and I was like it's really fun. You get to play the game in a completely different way. So if there ever shows up more places where you can do co-op, I definitely be for it.
Yeah, I've done co-op only casually. I don't even know if I've done like an SRL race co-op before this, but I've done it quite a bit, especially like Walt, just for fun. It's a really fun game mode. One of the things I dislike about Randomizer is that it's such an isolated experience when you're running it, which is part of what I love about the spoiler tournament, where you can like watch the commentation and but co-op is a really great mitigation to that, I think.
Yeah. And are any of you looking forward to next week?
Define looking forward to.
I'm trying to find
Yeah.
someone that's excited for it.
I'm super excited for Crossroad Key Sanity. It's by far my favorite mode. a little bit terrified up against our opponents, though, who are a lot better at me at Crossworld Insanity. But it's gonna be fun no matter what, that's for sure.
Who do you have next week?
Ferrami team.
Oh yeah. We've got Team Awesome, so we got like the other ridiculous team for that. So yay.
Yeah, those are both tough teams.
Yeah, Crossworld Key Sanity is definitely a puzzle in itself because, you know, Key Sanity is a puzzle, you know, on one end, but then you throw an entrance randomizer, you know, and so you got to find not only all the proper keys, but you also got to find all the proper entrances to the dungeons, and yeah, it's definitely a challenge, and I enjoy it when I play it, but you know, in terms of a race setting, I'm not sure if I would enjoy it, but I know some people do.
It can be really volatile, but the thing that is cool about Crossworld Key Sanity is it just makes it a lot more even, because you need all the keys, so it's not just a matter of like, oh, did I go to the right entrances?
Yeah.
So that part's nice.
Yeah, for sure. And it's like the mode that gives you the most chances to like just do crazy stuff. Like,
Yeah.
you can diverge so much. Like, it's so crazy when you see like it on restream and stuff, because you can see just like runners not even getting close to each other for most of the race, just because all the different possibilities. One single entrance or a connector can just lead you totally astray.
Yeah, that's my favorite part. Like, I feel like I've you know, okay, so I've found a lot of glitches in the game and like a lot of text and stuff, but I feel like probably more than half the time when I find something new, the conclusion is, oh, that's not really useful except for an entrance randomizer. And a lot of that stuff is like all this, you know, Moon, Pearlless, Dark World navigation, like some crazy fake flipper stuff that never comes up. There's like a lot of fun stuff that entrance makes possible.
Yeah. And Ursula starting to make that Aga 1 tower climb, and so we'll be at Ganon fairly soon.
Yeah, I guess the thing I like about the Crossworld Key Sanity is just the gambles that you can decide to make. Like when you find a dungeon, if you've got like part of the keys for it, and you make that quick decision: do I want to dive in here looking for something, or do I want to just, you know, note this down and come back later when I can clear it? And sometimes I'll dive it and get the first few chests, and it's like, oh look, I found the big key for this dungeon and 2 major items. It's like, okay, I'm feeling really good about this, because it's, you know, you have no idea what your opponent's going to do. It's hard to just kind of gauge, this is what my opponent is going to do in this situation. This is, or they wouldn't do that. So
And plus there's a lot of obscure like entrances that unless you do a lot of entrance, like people won't know how to really route in, or may even forget about, like the Lost Woods chest games, you know, in terms of the Dark Lost Woods and Light World. Those entrances are something that you never go into, even in rando, and unless you play entrance, you really forget about those.
Yeah, it's always fun to commentate for the same reason, entrance randomizer races, because like we also forget where those entrances are sometimes. So it's fun for viewer, runner, and commentator alike.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna try and get some commentating done next week when it's Crossworld Key Sanity. I'm gonna try and get as many in as possible. I think it's a really fun game mode, and I think a lot of people like might not realize it, but once you try it, it's like it's pretty. It can be pretty intimidating just by looking at the game mode, but it's really fun to play, even though it can be pretty chaotic at sometimes.
And I think yeah, it's definitely the key word there, Walther, is intimidating. It feels like it's a lot to take in all at once, especially when you're not if you're not really like an experienced runner and you're just still kind of learning how to do things, it's like, okay, well, now I have to do all the things I normally do, plus keep track of keys, plus keep track of entrances, plus know what leads to the other side and whatnot.
Yeah, and I can imagine, like in terms of challenges, like a co-op cross-world key sanity would probably be a pretty daunting challenge to keep all the information straight. Because I've seen some of those like on occasion, but yeah, that would require some really good teamwork. And Ursula dropping in on Ganon saying hello.
That's where I'm a bit bummed that we don't have a thing in the league, at least as far as I know, where all 3 team members can participate and have like a third person be like the coach, who just has an eye on tracking and all of that stuff and like telling people where to go. Because cross-world key sanity co-op would then be really practical and fun.
Yeah. If you had a third person keeping track of all of the entrances and keys and all that stuff, then yeah, I could see that being a much more fun experience because, there's already a lot on your mind when you're trying to, do all the execution of everything and making sure you're in the right spots and doing thing and routing yourself efficiently. And then if you add on having to communicate with your teammate, oh, this entrance is here, these keys are there, it really can get a bit difficult.
Yeah, it could be a lot of stuff to take in, and maybe that's something that we'll work on and perfect and get ready for season 2 of ALTTPR League. Never know what kind of crazy things we'll be cooking up next.
All right, so Ursula on phase 4 doing the spins.
Indeed. Just gotta get through this part, and 12 spins, and get to go home happy.
And using the lamp strats didn't pick up that half magic, so we'll have to conserve magic on this fight. Just a few more spins. Yeah, doing a Master Sword Silverless is just, to me, I've never done it, but it just seems like it's not fun for anyone. You have to stay focused for so long to get all them spins off because, you gotta concentrate on not falling, not dying, and
Oh. Always a tough thing when you fall on phase 4, and not uncommon to see that happen even among the experienced runners. It's very easy to actually end up in a spot where you can fall off.
Yeah. Some positioning of Ganon and yourself can lead to those bounces where you fall off. All right, so Ursula at it again. Gonna pop the second blue potion, get the magic back, and we're into phase 3. So you and Walter said you were having a contest to see how many bonks you who got the most bonks, and did you ever figure out who had the most?
I got 48, I think, and Walt got 29. So, but now
Yeah,
looks like
I
he's
had already
farmed.
done
As
Mega
I
1
was-
at that point.
I was gonna be looked like Walt he's farming some bonks. He's padding his numbers now.
Yeah, right? I'm pretty sure I beat Qirn at this point.
Well, you have to beat Ganon again for it to show up on your credits for it to count. So,
Well, that's not happening.
You could go get silvers and make it nice and easy.
What if we combine my bonks with this and the first race? I'm pretty sure I beat Qirn at that point.
Because we had early boots in the first race too, didn't we?
Yeah, that's nice. It's always nice having early boots, especially when you're gonna do like all dungeons.
Yeah, definitely. If you're on the path to all dungeons, you want those boots as early as possible. Get this thing
Was
over
the
with.
boots required for anything in this run? I don't think so.
No, they weren't. Boots weren't actually required for either one, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, it was for the first one because Bombos was on library.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah, I have to say that Silverless Ganon is one of the things that I need to practice because I was doing a seed and I fell off twice and I was ready to throw my controller. It's definitely
Yeah.
frustrating when you're like more than halfway in and you fall.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Civilus is like weird. It's like one of those. That's at least for me. It felt like it was really hard to learn it, but once you learn it, it just becomes pretty natural after a while.
And down goes Ganon for Ursula, so Ursula is going to cross the bridge, and we will get the official SRL time. And that's an official 4th place time, 2 hours, 8 minutes, 28 seconds. GG's to Ursula.
Mm-hmm. Get those GGs in the chat, everybody.
So we will grab Ursula for an interview, and then we will get things wrapped up here.
Hey,
GG Ursula, and congrats on beating that tough Silverless Ganon fight. I know the feels. I'm one that just loves those Silverless fights.
yeah, I just loved it. Plus the fact I had to go mode every dungeon except one.
But aside from that, what how did you feel about the seed? How did you feel about co-op? Was this a overall enjoyable experience? Just a kind of co-op in general.
I've done a lot of co-op actually. I did it for the tournament that I put on. I done doing co-op inventory share It's just kind of hard to find people who do it on the spur of the moment. It's quite hard of doing co-op. I do enjoy co-op when I can get the...
Yeah, and so I assume since you've done a lot of co-op, you kind of know how to, is because that's one thing that I've seen in this tournament. You've got, or this league, is if you got some people that have done co-op rarely and have had to come up with team strategies and stuff for the first time sometimes. And with this, like, did you feel comfortable in how to work with your teammate?
It's always different with every other person. You're gonna have your own code. So we did practice for this to see how we kind of got along together and how we worked together.
Yeah, because I did see for the first kind of half of the seed, you were out there on the front lines gathering all the information. And then once it got to about go mode time, Sir Link kind of took over the hunt for the sword as you started to clean up all the dungeons.
Yeah, especially when I up 11. Felt like it's a lot.
But you made it, so that's what counts. You stuck it through and you got it done.
I definitely did.
So, I mean, but have any specific thoughts about this seed?
I'm ready for a night to start to relax after 2 in a row.
Yeah, that's definitely got to be taxing on the mind, doing these double headers for a co-op. A lot of thought processes, and now it's time to kick back and relax.
Yep.
So, yeah, but make sure everybody out there in Chatland, you follow these runners. We got the links to their Twitch and chat. Also, follow our trackers, Literally Jen and Wolflink 0370, as well as my co-commentator, Neon Tiger. And Tiger, you got any final words for this?
Actually, I do. Make sure to follow Jetters as well. So don't forget to follow Jetters, as well as the rest of us. But yeah, it's a good race. I think everybody enjoyed it, and congrats to the winners. And looks like we've got the ALTTPR daily race weekly opens on Speed Gaming 5 right now. That should be wrapping up pretty soon. And after that, tonight on Speed Gaming 3, we've got Final Fantasy 1 Randomizer Spring, Zelda 1 Randomizer Weekly Race of GDQ Flags. It's going to be at 10 p.m. on Speed Gaming 2, and also at 10 p.m. on Speed Gaming 1. Right back here will be another match in the SM Prodigy Tournament. That's a Super Metroid Prodigy, for those who are wondering what the SM stands for.
And it looks like Sir Link wants to close it out. It's got an announcement regarding the league before we get out of here.
Yep. So nice, quick announcement. It kind of it's something because I do helping behind the scenes on the league as well, and it's something we've kind of been discussing because Fear Agent, he's the one who's doing the whole thing. He wanted to kind of start this one small and kind of go from there, see how everything goes. And we are going to get more information. This isn't going to be the only season of the league. But what we decided we're going to do, if you haven't joined the Discord, it would probably be a good idea, because we are going to be probably maybe during the playoffs or at the close of the actual tournament, when the league for the first season is done, there is going to be some forums that are going to show up in the links of the Discord for viewers, for racers, commentators, trackers, everything like that, about what they liked about the league, maybe some ideas. We're going to do some information gathering and see what we can do to make this even better as well for future seasons. So if you haven't joined the Discord, it would be a good idea probably, so we can get more information and make this better for everybody.
All right, so you heard him. Join the Discord, and aside from that, that'll be it for us. So that's all the league action we have today. So Neon Tiger laid out what's left on the speed gaming schedule, so we will see you all later.
Indeed. Have a good night, good RNG, good luck, and remember, someone out there loves you, and we love you too. Take care, guys.